So yeah, so what all are we going to need for this besides you have garlic, which is pretty typical.
Garlic is going to add a really nice flavor to it. This is actually going to go in, we have the oranges and the onions and the lemons to go into the boil to add flavor to that. The potatoes, red potatoes, these are pretty much your basic potatoes you want to have in here.
Small red potatoes.
If you can find a bag like this, I really like this bag because the way it comes, you can just drop the whole bag in there.
That's a really good tip, you guys.
And just pull it right out.
So you don't have to fish around in the boil for all of your ingredients, or at least for the potatoes. It's going to save you a lot of time because a lot of people love the potatoes. And whatever you have left over, I'm going to show you later what to do with that.
What you want to do is you want to get a rolling boil of just regular water, and then once it comes to a rolling boil, go ahead and add your boil mix in there.
Okay.
Once you got your boil mix in there, it's going to kill the boil. Once it comes back up to another rolling boil, then you start adding all your ingredients, extra ingredients.
Sounds good. So we start building those layers just like with the drinks.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so now we've got our boil set up. We added our seasonings in here and everything. It's come up to a nice rolling boil, like I said we should do. Now we're going to go ahead and add all our other ingredients. We're going to start off with one whole yellow onion. And then we're going to take some oranges and just go ahead, you can dump them in, but go ahead and squeeze that juice in there as well. And of course, the more oranges you use, the more citrus flavor you're going to get out of this. After that, we're going to add some lemons. All right, now once we have all that in there, get your nice crawfish stir. Get that good mix in there. And that is basically all there is. I mean, it's really simple. Put your boiled seasonings in there. Add your fruit. Be prepared to sneeze like I'm about to do.
Bless you.
Thank you. Go ahead and cover that back up, bring it to another boil, and what's going to happen after that, we're going to go ahead and get our crawfish ready to put in there. Basically, we're just going to put everything, our potatoes that we spoke of, everything's going to go in here, and then we're just going to drop it very slowly into our vat of boil.
Good.
So we've got our red potatoes.
Okay, so drop those in there. Now you mentioned this is going to be something that's really simple. So obviously you haven't grown up doing this since you're from Atlanta.
Nope.
Is this something that's pretty difficult to do if you've never done it before? You have any tips you can give us?
There's the time rule. You don't want to overcook crawfish because if you do that, they're going to come out kind of gritty, tough, and chewy. You don't want that to happen.
Don't overcook it. That's one tip.
My rule is once the bugs go in, boil them for about 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then after that, let them turn the fire off and just let them soak in the hot water for about 8 more minutes.
Okay, that sounds easy
because
enough.
basically what's going to happen is the longer you let them soak, the more flavor they're going to soak in. More flavor, more spice. So it's basically sometimes how hot do you want the crawfish to be?
All right, well thank you for sharing those tips with us. Now let's go ahead and are we ready to go ahead and get everything in there?
Yeah, we got our potatoes in here right now.
All right.
We're going to go ahead and dump our garlic in here.
Awesome. And again, this doesn't have to be exact. I'm assuming you just throw in.
Yeah, you just throw in, and just because I'm feeling ticklish right now, I see you've got this wonderful cilantro over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and take this and
hey, that sounds good.
Give it a little love there.
All right.
Now, once you have all it in there, just bring it on over, and we're actually going to let the potatoes cook a while because they're going to take a little longer to cook than the crawfish. You time it, then you can put the crawfish in after a while, and you can, if you sync it right, then everything will come out at the same time. Let's go ahead and bring these over here. And just remember to just drop it in really slowly because it's very hot. You don't want this splashing up on it.
That's good.
Okay, our bowl is ready. Our vegetables have been, our potatoes and garlic have been cooking in here for a while. So we're ready to put a crawfish in. Here's our first batch of bugs. We've got our potatoes in here already still because they're going to cook along the rest of the way with the bugs. And like I said before, just slowly drop them in there. Also, because we're adding a lot of mass to the boil, remember not to put too much water in here, because when you add all the bugs, all the mud bugs in here as well, the water's going to rise a lot, and you don't want it overflowing everywhere. Kind of, you know, burn hazard. So we got those in there. We're going to cover that up. We're going to let this go for about 8 to 10 minutes, and after that we're going to come back, cut the heat, and let them soak for about 8 more minutes. And actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some ice when we cut the fire off, just so we want to slow the cooking process down. We don't want these to overcook. And after that, let them soak in the ice, and then pull them out. They'll be ready to go. Okay, so our bugs, potatoes, been going for quite some time now. It is now time to cut the fire. Once we do this, that'll kind of like slow the cooking down. Now, it's so hot in here right now. They look ready, but they're not ready. But at the same time, you can't have crawfish boil without corn. Now, what I like to do is, you can go and get frozen corn, and then once you let it thaw, you can just dump it in here. So, while you do the soak, that corn is going to go ahead and heat up and soak in all those juices as well. Just go ahead and push that down in there. And at the same time, like I said, you can add some extra things in there. I like to do mushrooms. We have our mushrooms in there. Go ahead and push that down and make sure you're getting a lot of that heat in there. Now when you pull the bugs out, when it is time to, if they fall aside, don't worry, they float. So we're going to let that soak. You don't want to leave it there in too long because, like I said, they're still kind of cooking in there. So I'd say about, for my preference, it's about 8 to 10 minutes. Let them soak after you cut the fire, and then go ahead and pull them out. Once you pull them out, they're ready to eat. Here they are, our bugs. They look perfectly gorgeous. The smell is coming off here. I wish y'all could smell this. And then I'll go over here and tip over. And woo, that is very hot. But here's our prized possessions. Now, you can do whatever with this as far as serving them up.